Hey guys, it's Counting again. This is my review for Pretty Little Liars, Season 5, Episode 7, The Silence of Elam. And this episode was amazing. I thought this episode was probably the best episode of the season. It was definitely a really, really good episode. But one of the things I do want to say is this episode kind of makes us change our opinion about certain characters, specifically Allie. It kind of makes us a little more suspicious of her. And that's one of the things I really liked about this episode, was kind of like the change in characters that we're seeing, and we're starting to get a little bit more suspicious of other characters. However, I do still have one little theory that I do want to talk to you guys about, but let's first get to the episode. So basically, we first see Emily arriving in school with her mom, and her mom is telling her to invite Allie and the rest of the girls over for dinner later, and her mom wants Allie to know that she is here for her, and basically, the thing is, she's telling her mom, I've been here for you, you need to be here for Allie, and Emily heads to the bathroom with the rest of the liars and invites them over to dinner. But Aria says she's going to be at Radley trying to get to the bathroom of the Bethany Yun mystery because, she's trying to track down more about Bethany Yun. Spencer is going to be busy helping Ezra move his research and spy equipment into Aria's attic. And Hannah is stuck going to dinner with Allie and Emily, but she's not really thrilled about it, because as we know, Hannah does not really like Allie right now. She is not the kind of person that really wants to... Allie's like the worst person she could be stuck with right now. She does not want to be with Allie right now, because she's kind of jealous of Allie. She doesn't feel, she's very insecure when she's around Allie, things like that. And then we get something very interesting. The rest of the liars leave, and Sydney comes out of one of the bathroom stalls. Now, as we know, we cannot trust Sydney right now, because Mona and Sydney was part of the conversation with Mona and Jenna. Now, her and Hannah got pretty close in this episode. I kind of have this theory that Sydney could possibly be A, because how close her and Hannah get. We'll get to that, but basically she had been listening to the entire conversation, which makes me right away think it's very suspicious. And she tugs on the scarf that Allie's wearing around her neck to cover the choke marks from A, and Sydney says her scarf is beautiful. Afterwards, Sydney tells Emily that Paige found a dead rat in her swim locker, and Emily confronts Mona about the dead rat, but Mona says it has boy written all over it. Now, I still do not trust Mona. There is no way I trust Mona, because Mona is still acting very suspicious. She's acting very suspicious, very creepy, and I don't trust Mona. So this has not narrowed it down. They are not narrowing it down for who could be A at all. They're just increasing the suspects, and that's one of the things I really like about Pretty Little Liars. They don't narrow down the suspects till, the very end. So Hannah then finds Caleb in the quad. She doesn't know what to think right now, because she has Caleb, but she also has Travis. She doesn't know who she really wants to be with. And he says he's taking some exit exams, and she actually vents to Caleb about being dragged to Emily's for dinner, and he tells her he should just cut Allison off, but Allie off, but Hannah's afraid she will lose her other friends too. So, that's kind of sad. But honestly, as I said, Hannah has done things to herself. She's kind of not making the best decisions, so she's kind of done things to herself. So Aria heads back to Radley to volunteer, and she runs into Spencer's friend, Eddie. Eddie, as we know, is a very nice guy. And Eddie tells Aria that he feels like they must have met before, but Aria insists they've never met before. So that's kind of weird. Why does he think they met before? Probably because, I don't know, maybe Spencer's told him about her. I don't know. But back at school, Allie runs into Caleb, and as we know, Caleb is, him and Allie, there's something going on there, and we finally find out what's going on. Because Allie curtly informs him that he doesn't know her at all, and he counters, I know you from what you have left behind, you're like a tornado. So Caleb does not trust Allie. So this kind of made me a little bit suspicious of Allie, because, think about it, ever since A's come back, Allie's starting to act very suspicious, very, innocent, and she's kind of, she can tell a lot of people are under her radar right now, and it seems like she's trying to hide something. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like she's trying to hide something, and I don't know what it is. But I feel like there's something she's trying to hide. So then at Radley, Aria meets Bethany Yun's old roommate, Rhonda, and this girl, Rhonda, I did not like her, personally. I did not like her character in this episode. She was the only thing really about this episode I didn't like. This episode was still best episode of the season, but I didn't like her character, really. She calls Aria a thief when she sees that Aria is the drawing Eddie left on Ezra's doorstep. And obviously that's, she's not a thief. She has that drawing for a specific purpose. And, yeah, so that's not good. So then Spencer sees Melissa at home. And by the way, I loved all the scenes with Spencer and Melissa in this episode. I really like seeing them, reconnect in this episode. And she's cleaning out the barn. She says that Spencer's sober buddy left food out when he was fired. And Spencer takes the trash bag out of her hand and says she will clean up the mess. And a dead mouse in a trap falls out on the ground. And Spencer screams. Now, that is the same dead mouse that was in Paige's locker. And Melissa then picks up the mouse off the ground and throws it in the garbage can. Now, that was really creepy. That was honestly really creepy to watch. So Caleb then shows up at Hannah's house because she sent him an SOS message, and when he walks in, Hannah immediately starts yelling at him and asks him what he said to Allie because she's furious. And he tells her it doesn't matter because she's gonna dump Allie anyway. And he takes out a beer and says that he's celebrating his freedom because he walked out of his test at school. And Spencer arrives at Ezra's house to help him move his stuff. So yeah, as I said, Hannah's kind of making bad decisions, but, Caleb's kind of telling her to live in the moment, and, yeah, so Spencer is at Ezra's house trying to help him move his stuff, and he says they're taking it to his friend's shed, and she asks him if she can borrow one of his cameras, because she wants to keep an eye on someone. And once they get all the boxes moved into the shed, Spencer thanks him for showing up on the roof and helping them in New York, and Spencer confesses that the camera is to watch, Melissa, because she knows she's connected to everything. So then at Radley, back at Radley, we see Rhonda, and this is very creepy. Rhonda tells Arya that Bethany gave her that painting, and she's a thief, and people cut hands off from thieves. And Arya gives that painting back to Rhonda, and Eddie Lamb interrupts before she can ask Rhonda about Bethany Young. So that was definitely very interesting. I mean, definitely, that was a very creepy scene. Not the creepiest scene in the episode, but it was creepy, definitely. So yeah, that was definitely pretty creepy. And then after this, we get a very interesting scene. Now, this scene started to make me think, Allie could possibly be A, because she's seeming very suspicious here. Emily shows up at Hannah's house and asks her why she lied about having cramps in her text and is ditching dinner, and Hannah asks what is going on between her and Allie. And Emily says Allie's just really needy, and Hannah caves in and agrees to come to dinner. So yeah, that was definitely, interesting. And Arya then waits until Rhonda goes into the bathroom to take a shower and sneaks into her bedroom and starts going through her drawers. And none of the shower stalls are free, so Rhonda comes right back. Arya hides under Rhonda's bed while she lays on it so Rhonda doesn't, freak out. And basically, Hannah then shows up at Emily's to have dinner with her mom and Allie. And Allie takes Hannah aside and asks if she dealt with, and Allie takes Hannah aside and asks her if she dealt with Caleb yet, and she reminds her that she has to do the right thing for everybody. And basically Hannah says, wait a second, so the right thing for me is to basically, you're telling me I can't see Caleb anymore? And Allie then heads to the dinner table, and Hannah sneaks a drink of Mrs. Fields' liquor, and the creepiest thing here, it was really interesting here, because the thing is that Allie was starting to seem very suspicious. It's like, why do you want her not to be with Caleb? We kind of know why. All we know is that we don't really know what's going on with Caleb and Allie. All we know is that Caleb does not trust Allie. That's all we know. And so, since Caleb did not trust Allie, obviously Allie, I'm thinking Allie did something, or there's something that's going on with Allie. Allie is seeming very suspicious now, and I don't really trust her at this point. I don't really trust Allie at this point. And I think a lot of us really don't trust Allie, I myself included. I really don't trust Allie right now, and I don't think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to anymore, because I really can't trust her after this scene. Now, as far as Hannah goes, sneaking a drink like that, Hannah is still making bad decisions, so, I have no sympathy for Hannah, really. Arya then finally gets out of Rhonda's room, because, she wants to get out of there, because Rhonda's gonna throw another fit, and basically she's realizing that, she stays there, it's gonna be pointless, because Rhonda's gonna, have another fit over it. So she heads to her car in the dark parking lot, and Eddie Lamb stops her in the parking lot, and asks her what she's looking for, and Arya doesn't answer, and says she's late and has to go. She hops in her car and drives off, but after she leaves, Eddie then calls Ezra on her cell phone, and that's really weird. We don't know why that happened, but basically at Emily's awkward dinner, Hannah's drunk at this point, and Allie's going on and on to Mrs. Fields about how horrible it was to be kidnapped, and Hannah keeps mocking her and making snide comments because Hannah's very suspicious of her right now. Meanwhile, she's also drunk, but she's very suspicious of her also. And Allie volunteers to help Emily's mom clear the table, and after they leave, Emily sniffs Hannah's drink, and realizes she has actually been drinking straight vodka. So Emily now knows that Hannah's drinking, and that's obviously not good. So Arya then heads to Spencer's and shows Spencer the drawing book that she stole out of Rhonda's room, and it used to be Bethany's sketch pad, and I thought this was really interesting. They realize that one of the drawings are actually of Toby's mom falling off the roof at Radley, and another drawing is of Mrs. De Laurentiis with devil horns. Now, this is really weird, because if you guys are, the weird thing here is that, why would they have these drawings? Why would Bethany draw these drawings? What is this all about? Now, I kind of have this new theory now. Did Bethany possibly, illustrate her attack or something? Did she actually want to die and basically made it look like someone attacked her and she killed herself or something? I don't know, but it seems like Bethany might have actually had another agenda, and the agenda was to kill Mrs. De Laurentiis, but she didn't, so she had somebody else do it for her. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. But then we probably get one of the most touching scenes of the episode. I really love this scene because it really shows I really love this scene. Spencer and Melissa, they're continuing to argue, and Spencer says that Melissa took their dad's side, but Melissa does not want to fight with Spencer, but Spencer says that love can't fix their family. Their problems are for whispers and secrets and bodies buried up and down the streets. But Melissa reassures her that it is still about love, and sometimes people do things because of love, and I thought this was a great scene. It really just shows the bond between the two of them, the sisterhood between the two of them, and really it just shows that, sometimes people do things just because they love them. Even though it's not the right thing to do, they still do it because they love that person, and that's why they do it. I thought this scene was definitely very well done because of that, and I really enjoyed this scene, definitely. I thought this was definitely one of the best scenes of the episode, in my opinion. I really enjoyed this scene. Definitely a very great scene between them, and it really showed, the bond between them very, very well. So after Hannah and Allie leave, Emily asks her mom why she wanted Allie to come over so badly. And her mom then confesses that she knows Emily thought of Allie as more than a friend before she left. And her mom informs Emily that the story she told about being kidnapped has some holes in it, and she doesn't have to keep saving Allie. So that was definitely very interesting. Now here is where another one of my theories come back into play. Hannah has coffee with Sydney at the cafe, and she tries to sober up. She drunkenly confesses to Sydney that she can never make up with Jenna because of what happened in New York with Shauna. And Sydney says, wow, you have a lot of problems with her. Now, when Sydney leaves, Caleb shows up and sits down with... Now, Sydney then leaves. The thing is, though, Sydney still is acting very suspicious, and I'm pretty sure, there's something that happens after this with Hannah. There's something that happens after this that really makes me think Sydney could be A. I kind of have a couple theories right now. So Caleb shows up and sits down with Hannah, and Hannah wants to talk about their relationship, or lack of the relationship. And she says there is no her and Travis, and when Caleb is around, Caleb argues that Ravenswood kind of changed him. He learned things about his family. And Hannah starts kissing him, and he actually kisses her back. And I thought this was really surprising. I did not expect to see, this to happen. I did not expect them, to kiss and everything. I did not expect that because I just wasn't expecting that. I thought that was definitely very surprising. One of the most surprising things about the episode, actually, was that they got, that they kissed. And basically, she says that she can't have Travis, there is no her and Travis. And basically, her and Caleb, I'm guessing, are back together, which honestly is a good thing. The only problem is Miranda. If Miranda is going to come back on the show at some point, we know that. We know that they're going to have a Ravenswood, they said they were going to conclude the Ravenswood story on the show. I don't know when this is happening, but they did say that Miranda's going to be back. So, if Miranda comes back, we know that her and Caleb did have feelings for each other. So we're going to have to see what happens with Miranda and Caleb, because if you remember, that prophecy or whatever kind of said that they're basically supposed to be together. So I don't know what that's going to indicate, but that's something going to be interesting to see what that means. And then the last scene in the episode, Spencer is watching the camera. She set up outside of her barn to watch her sister, Melissa, because, that's when she set up. But she sees Allie walking through the backyard in the dark, and we don't know what what that's all about, but there's something going on there. So Spencer decides to text Emily and Arya an SOS message, and as Arya is leaving, Ezra shows up on her doorstep and reveals that Eddie called him after she left Radley, and he went to meet Eddie. Also, Emily was on the phone with Paige, and she was talking to Paige, and she wanted to tell Paige she loved her, but she knows that her and Paige aren't together anymore. And honestly, I felt really bad for Emily in that scene. I really did feel bad for her in that scene. I really did. And I liked that scene, definitely. I thought it was, a very nice scene, but I really felt bad for Emily in that scene. So basically, what ends up happening after that is Hannah shows up at Spencer's, and Aria and Emily are already there, and Spencer, Aria, and Emily received a text from A. And, but the thing is, A doesn't send it to Hannah. And, basically they say, oh, did you just get that message? And, and Hannah's like, no, I did not get that message. So they're trying to figure out, why she didn't get the message. And, it turns out that the message says, Allie is keeping secrets, and so are you. I know because of Hannah's big fat mouth, and that's how the episode ends. So now, they are on to Hannah, and they think something is up with Hannah. Now, here is what I am thinking is going on, actually. I kind of have this new theory. Now, I do not think that it is that, I do not think it's one of those things where, basically, I don't think it's that Hannah is A. I don't think it's that at all. That would be a great twist if one of the liars was A. That would be a really good twist. I don't think it's that, though. What I think is going on, really, is that Sydney talked to Hannah. Hannah told her, some very personal things when she was drunk, and she told her stuff, and she probably doesn't remember. And this brings back my theory of how Sydney could be A, because Sydney, it makes perfect sense. Mona told Sydney, go get closer with Hannah and get her to reveal information. We're going to make the liars think that Hannah is A, which basically makes perfect sense because they'll become jealous of her. Allie is going to feel comfortable in Rosewood because no one's attacking her, and then when she least expects it, she's going to get attacked. Now, do I trust Allie 100% right now? No, I don't, because she's acting very suspicious. I don't know what it is. No, I do not think Allie is A. I think Sydney is A. I think there are multiple people. I think it's Mona, Sydney, Jenna still, because, Sydney got close with Hannah. It makes perfect sense as to why, someone's going after Hannah. If anyone was going after Hannah, it would be Sydney. Because I don't think Allie would really go after Hannah right now. I really don't think Allie would do something like that. However, Sydney, I could definitely see her doing that because we know that she's working with Mona. So it makes perfect sense that, Sydney could be A, and I think that's really what's going on here with them. I don't know what else is going on, though. Now, as far as Allie goes, what do I think is actually going on with Allie? Allie is definitely hiding something with Caleb. There's something going on between her and Caleb, and I don't know what it is, but we're going to have to see in, the next episode what's going on between her and Caleb. There's something that she's hiding. I don't know if it has something to do with, Caleb's parents or whatever. I really don't know. But there's something going on between Allie and Caleb. For some reason, he does not trust her, and we don't know what it is. Now, as far as, Aria goes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, definitely, with Bethany Young. They're trying to figure out some things about her. Why would she draw those drawings? I really don't know why she would draw those drawings. It's going to be interesting to see, why she decided to actually draw those drawings of, Mrs. De Laurentiis, and then of Toby's parents. I mean, that's extremely weird. By the way, where is Toby? We didn't see Toby. Did he die? I'm assuming Toby died or something, because we haven't seen him since then. But, the next episode looks absolutely amazing. It looks like A is gonna go really far. And, yeah, so this episode is definitely the best episode of the season for a couple of reasons. One, it really makes us, not trust Allie as much anymore. Plus, it kind of makes Hannah a target now. And Hannah, honestly, she set it up for herself, because if she wouldn't have taken that drink, and if she wouldn't have done that, then, if she wouldn't have taken that drink, then, this wouldn't have happened to her, obviously. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Hannah, definitely. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for Finding Carter. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.